Hey everybody, Arthur here with another unboxing video. Today we have Neca Predator Machiko. This is my first ever Neca Predator figure. Huge shout out to Nathan Simmons. This was one of my surprise Christmas gifts. And what the funny story is I found one, got that for my buddy Tony for Christmas, and then I found two more because I wanted one, and then uh, Nate needed one, so I hit him up. I'm like, man, I got two. We're good. Everybody's taken care of with Machikos. And then he's like, way to ruin one of your gifts. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm sending you one. I'm like, but do you have one? And Nate's like, no, but he's, Nate always looks out for others before himself at times, and it's awesome. It's very, very cool that he's always looking out and helping fellow collectors and friends out. And it was cool that I was able to send him the figure that he was sending me. So everybody has one still. So it's all good. And it comes in this really cool package. You got one of the Predators that comes in this wave in the background. And the artwork's phenomenal. And I love the comic art of this character. And let's focus right there. It's so badass. So good. And the fact that like Aliens vs. Predator, the second one, ended up trying to make this character, it was just disappointing that they completely failed. More comic art right there. And then we do have a read-up right there. Then it does say Machiko Predator, also available. We got these ones right here. There's no names, which is crazy. Like, I don't understand why they didn't put names so people could find them, but there's only these three of this wave, and they come in very similar packaging like this. Let's get her out of the package. Machiko out of the package is great. It's a beautiful looking figure. I was playing around with it before I actually decided to start recording and everything, because I just needed to get a lot of hands on, check out the joints and everything. And she does come with some accessories. She comes with a alternate right hand. So you get the cool wash that's on there. Look at the detail. The fact that we get an alternate hand is pretty awesome. Glove detail's good. Look at that little tiny peg. So tiny. But it's a alternate hand. That is great. Then she comes with her mask. Now it does have some spots on it. I don't know if that's supposed to be like that or what's going on with that, but there are some blotches and stuff on there. But the eyes painted pretty good. It's got the little side, wish the side little things by her eye were painted red, because I do believe that's where the laser comes from, if I'm not mistaken. Then we got the wiring or hoses all right here coming out the side. Looking pretty good. And then the whole interior is fantastic. That is just the insane amount of detail. NECA does amazing work. They have amazing artists. And it just... They could have just left this blank, but they put all this detail into it. I love it. Love it. Then we get this nice turquoise plasma assault rifle, grenade launcher, whatever you want to call it. It is sculpted very well. Again, I mean, if you have any NECA items, you know the details there. They're not scared to use washes, multiple paints, and the detail on this is amazing. Looks so good. Even the barrel, little focus there. The barrel looks awesome. It just looks grungy. It looks like it's seen some battle and, you know, it's been through some shit. So, I love the gun. Love it. It actually has some nice weight to it. Then we get into the figure itself. So the figure has a lot of cool things, and then it does have some issues that we'll get into. But her face sculpt, at first I was iffy on it, and her face sculpt's pretty good. You know, her eyes are, I don't know, I can't tell. One looks like it might be looking up a little bit. Yeah, maybe it's just how the light's hitting it. But she got some weird googly eye thing. Sometimes you gotta really, really look at it. Yeah, I got a weird eyes. She's got the scar on her head, which looks really good. All that extra detail is fantastic. The dreads look so good. Multiple layers. The sculpt work, the paint work, and the hair. Very, very well done. Love this shoulder cannon piece. The dry brushing on it. The sculpt work. It's a work of art right here. That's why I love Neca. They are not scared to use paint or even go into that heavy detail like that. Some of the stuff being hidden, like, it looks so good. Then we get this little hand, her shoulder cannon. It goes up. This part's on like a ball joint. It's very loose, and I wish they would have dirtied this up a little bit because it looks out of place. It's so just like globbed with that turquoise paint that it needs like a wash or something to make it blend in. It just stands out. But it is on a little ball joint and a hinge, but as you can see too, like, it's very loose. So that's one of the issues I have. Her eyes, this, and then her head articulation. She can look down that much. She can look back barely any. Underneath, she has a very good neck, tribal like neck thing going on. Showing some skin, not looking super skanky. The armor is great. I love the fading of the paints and everything. Goes really well. Shoulder armor and everything looks great. Articulation is pretty on point. Like, this is a separate piece of armor, so it actually goes up, doesn't hinder her movement. She has biceps level, double jointed elbows. Now, elbows you got to watch out for. So this one has a little bit of plastic going up, but you got to watch out because these things were not going through all the way, and you got some sort of plastic mark right there. I can't tell if it's like a stress fracture or what, but yeah, you got to be careful with her elbows. So I don't know if it's because of the double joint or because they were putting on these like rubbery like elbow pads or something of that nature. I'm not too sure, but you definitely have to be careful. You got these gauntlets that are really looking fantastic. Nice trigger finger, glove hand, rotation, and there is wrist bend in there. So, very good. This piece, shoulder pad, again, doesn't hinder anything, but it looks, again, so organic. It's beautiful. It looks like it's made out of, like, scales of some creature that this predator has hunted. And again, go straight up. Now, this gauntlet's a lot different. So, I'm not a fan of these. These things, I feel like they're super brittle and that they're going to break, like, just by the touch, because they're like a hard plastic, and as you can see, they are sort of bent. So that's not a fun thing coming out of the package, but they do slide out. And again, you can sort of see, oh, you can't really see, there we go. You can see sort of how they are. But when they slide out, they're still cool. The fact that we have this reminds me of old school, like, Wolverine from, like, the first Wolverine we got. Wish it was spring loaded. But yeah, I could see these claws easily snapping off. She does have two parts of articulation. She has sort of like a lower hip and ab. So her ab gets all this type of motion. So very good motion to have her battling aliens, maybe even fighting another predator, you know, to be ranked up within the predators. She does have that lower hip joint. You get some of this movement back and forth. And she's got some really cool, like, mesh, like chainmail looking stuff right there. And the armor, again, just is so well done and detailed. It's gorgeous. Look at it. She got a little bit of badonk. She got a little bit of bend for the booty. And her booty has like a little thong going on, covering everything. Crotch goes all the way around. It's a little bit bent. So you get it a little like angled at the weird to the side a little bit. Fishnets are pretty good. Paint is not the greatest on these fishnets. Like totally off or missed or just not done. And that's sort of a little bit sad because, I mean, if you're sculpting in fishnets. Why not make sure that they're like perfect and they're clean? At least, you know, when we got the Typhoid Mary from Hasbro, my fishnets that they were solid. They weren't even sculpted, but they were like perfect. This one is just, it's a mess. It's upsetting a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. But from a distance, it's not too bad. And then her knees almost look like this one's crooked, because when you bend the knees, you know, this one goes straight. This one sort of is like at an angle. She has like ball joints up in here, so she gets some really good like split motion. You know, she can do a pretty good high kick. She can kick that field goal and everything, looking good. Do Spartan kick. Double jointed knees. Now this one is stuck very tight. This one I can bend a little bit. You can see it a little bit right here. Not a fan of the flesh peg right there. Did you see that? Flesh peg, right? It's an eyesore. That's completely weird. This side does not have a flesh peg, but this one does. How many of you guys have this figure and are having like the same QC little issues? She does have ankle pivot, bend, and toes can bend. That's awesome. Again, tons of detail, tons of amazing paintwork. So there's nothing bad I can say about the detail. But now you can see, like, see how her foot is like, I don't know. It's sort of, this one's sort of angled a little bit, like the knee. Like this part's like a glued on separate piece or something, but it needs to be shifted over to the right a little bit. Oh, see, and that's not good either. They got that paint issue, sort of like Diamond Select figures. Some of those Grocery Gang figures, you move the paint, like you move these joints and the paint's chipping out of there, so you can just see the flesh plastic it was originally. That's not cool. But let's get her geared up. So I mean, I'm pointing out all these negative things, but I'm just showing you, like, this isn't a $20 figure. I mean, the NECA figures are a lot more costly, and it makes sense because look at all this detail, paint work, sculpt work. It's a definitely a upper class figure, but then you have all these QC issues. I just hope this isn't going to start becoming a norm with NECA, because I really love the company. I love the work they do, and their customer service is fantastic. So maybe I'll reach out to them and see what's going on, if this is a common occurrence, or if I can, you know, just the detail is so good. Can't get over it. But let's get her geared up and see what we can do. Machiko is so fun to pose up, especially those toe bends. They help out a lot, where you can get her into a nice like hunting, stalking mode, and that alternate hand grips the front of the gun like a glove. It fits so well, and the mask fits on. Everything is very nicely done on this figure, besides the little issues I have pointed out. And there is another issue, but just I want you to look like how cool that is, to be able to have the fact that she can be, you know, moving like that. You got to balance. But I mean, once she's balanced, I mean, you get some really nice poses. Very awesome. Very solid feeling figure. I mean, all the figures you really get from NECA are very solid. But one issue I have is dealing with this little top shoulder cannon. It has two little buttholes right there that these wires are supposed to plug into, and it doesn't really stay. So I just tucked the wires behind, giving the illusion, because the mask has the spots on the side. That's where you get the lasers that shoot out and do little 3 red dot thingies, and then she can control it, you know, target and shoot from that shoulder cannon. But it doesn't plug in the back, and I don't know if anybody has any tips of how they got them to stay in, or did somebody just glue it on, or, you know, what did you guys do with your Machiko? And tell me, like, do you guys have the same QC issues I was having? You know, you guys have any gripes about this figure? Are these spots on the mask supposed to be like that? Just comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Had to do one more quick pose. I mean, we all want to know what happened to Logan, and is Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine? And right here is the answer. No, Machiko took his head off. And that is my unboxing and review of Neca's Preorder Machiko. And if you guys like what you saw, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more. And as always, check out Toyco's Toys and Collectibles. Both links are down below. You got the first one, that is the collectors group. Make sure you guys join up, share figures, talk figures, share YouTube channels, have a good time in that group because it's fun. You know, I'm in it all the time. I'm posting stuff. It's a fun group. Then you have the pre-order group where it keeps you in the know on figures, what's coming out. Great pricing for pre-orders if you don't want to waste the gas and deal with hunting, all that good stuff. Both groups, just join up. Doesn't hurt to join. If you don't like it, you can leave after you join. But the biggest thing is I want you guys to have the best luck hunting, keep on collecting, and have a beautiful day.